how's it going? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Amanda from Amanda Around the Globe. Today I'm doing a video that I am so excited to do. I've been wanting to do this video forever and I've been putting it off because I kept telling myself that it wasn't ready and I wasn't ready for it. As you know from the title of this video, this is a houseplant tour and I have a few plants I need to repot and that are going in different pots, and I keep moving around my plants. My apartment is kind of in the middle of getting fixed up to what I want it to be, so yeah, a lot of excuses, but today I decided it would be fun to just do this video and show you guys all my plants. I have so many plants, a total of 60 plants. So let's start from the front door. Here we go. In my living room, we have one of the lowest light rooms out of my entire house. We have a big window here. This is our big window and it is east facing. Yep, it's east facing. So we get a little bit of light in the morning, but generally this room stays pretty dark. So at the windowsill, I have a Philodendron squamiferm, which is the coolest plant. And I really love it because of this. Can you see it? The stem is like hairy and it's really, I don't know how to describe it. These little things sticking out almost feel like rubbery. They don't hurt you or anything. They're just really cool. It's a really cool looking plant. In the spring, I'm gonna repot this one and put a bigger hole in there so that it can stand up a little bit easier. And then I also have a little string of turtles here. I bought this one online and since I've gotten it in my apartment, it just hasn't done that well. I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. I think it wasn't getting enough sun at the beginning, but I'm hoping to repot this one into a terracotta pot in the spring, which will start in just a few short weeks, and I think that will help it out a bit, hopefully. I have a anthurium here, which I got on sale from Bunnings. It was like $5 and I wanted to rescue it. This plant will actually put out red flowers. Since I've gotten it, it hasn't really done anything. Like, it hasn't gotten better or worse. It obviously needs to be rotated because it's definitely growing toward the light here. I have this massive peace lily. I actually inherited this plant and it always is drooping like this even after I water it. One time I put it in the bathtub and left it there for like, oh, I don't know, probably 2.5 to 3 hours just sitting in water, and it still was drooping like this afterwards, and it has these little brown tips. It really needs some help. I've recently repotted it because it was very root bound and I thought that would help it, but it still looks pretty sad. And then when I move over this way, here is my ZZ plant. This one is actually one of my oldest plants. I think this is actually the oldest plant that I purchased that I own. So I've had this one for probably about 2 years. I think I got this right when I moved in here. And it grew from like I think it was started off as like 1 or 2 little things about this size, or maybe even this size. And now it's just grown into a monster. I love this one because it's so easy to take care of. And then here I have a devil's ivy golden pothos, which is very leggy because it gets very low light here. I have it wrapped around here, but my ultimate goal with this one is to cut it and propagate these leaves and then put it back into here so it becomes a bit bushier. Every time that I water this, I'll take it outside and give it some light, and I think that's why some of the leaves on the bottom are a bit bigger than the ones on the top. Here I have my little prayer plant. This one actually does not go here. I just moved this here for a photo. It generally goes in my bedroom. I'll show you that in a second. Up here I have a little hairy succulent named Harry. Focus. I really love this one. Michael hates these ones with the little spikes sticking out, but I just think they're so cute and funky looking. And then the last plant over here is my kentia palm. Yeah, this one has been very easy to grow as well. It just chills there and it's happy with this light level, even though sometimes I will take it and move it to right here when I go to work, just so it gets a little bit more light in the day. And then on our coffee table, I have this little fire flash, and I think it's really cool, mainly because of the orange on the inside. I hardly ever see these plants on Instagram or even in YouTube videos of plant tours. So I think that's very cool and exotic, and I really like that one. So that's all the plants in the living room. Now we can go into the kitchen, which is the darkest room in my house. Start up here. This is a fake plant because nothing would survive here. Plants in the windowsill because this is the only place that gets any light at all. Like even the camera can't find the light. So here I have a tiny little succulent. This is one of my newer ones as well. I just think it's really cute with the pink on the outside. And then I have another little hairy cactus here. I repotted this one directly into this pot when I didn't know anything, and so I just have to be really careful with watering because that doesn't have a hole on the bottom. And then this one also is getting replanted into a terracotta pot in the spring, but this is a neon syngonium, and some of the leaves have lost a lot of the pink, which makes me so sad. But syngoniums are very, very easy to grow as well. So if you're a beginner and you're looking for a leafy, cool looking plant, I'd definitely go for a syngonium. Or the ZZ plant that I have in the front is also great for beginners. It's very, very easy. This is my first ever propagation. So I've actually used my French press to propagate this devil's ivy from the lobby of my apartment building. It has this cool variegation and it is actually growing roots. It has been in here forever, probably 3 months I've had this in this jar. So it took a while to grow roots, but it really took off once I used rainwater in there. That's all the plants I have in my kitchen because it's so dark, nothing will grow in here. Here's the bathroom. So we get a little bit of light in here. This is probably low to medium light, but I put some ferns up here in the windowsill. They get a decent amount of light in here, and the sun shines in here in the morning. So in the morning I always have this mostly closed, so they get filtered light through the frosted glass. I have a maidenhair fern here, which is one of my newer ones. I really hope that she likes it here and she can survive and be happy. So far she's doing so well. This is my Boston fern, which has stayed pretty much the same size for, I don't know, about 2 years. I've had this for quite some time, and it doesn't really grow, but it doesn't die either. It constantly looks like it's dying because it's so thin and sad looking, but it's stayed at that level. And it's actually popped out a few more fronds in the last couple of months. So I'm hoping the springtime will be a good influence on it. And here I have a peace lily. I literally just moved this in here this morning because peace lilies don't like to get too much light, so I'm hoping that it will be happy in here. The funky thing about this one is that the leaves are so light green, and sometimes they're even yellow, which I think that means that it's getting too much light. So that's why I moved it in here. It's not getting any direct sun ever, and it is getting pretty low light. So I hope you're happy there. Over here I have a little happy plant that I got from IKEA. He's just chilling. He's pretty easy. He's happy, putting out some new leaves. I like the coloring on the leaves, how it's lighter on the inside and darker on the outside of the leaves. I just think that's very cool. That one's pretty easy to take care of. He's pretty happy no matter where I put him. So next we'll go into the toilet. Beautiful. So in the toilet room, I just have one plant here, which is my sansevieria, and it's very, very happy in here. It's lived here for about a year, and it's just been really chill. It's been growing quite a bit, and I really like these twisted leaves. I water this one only probably once a month, probably even less during the winter. I pretty much forget about it and just let it do its thing, and it's happy there. So that's cool. I also have a little plant in our laundry room. Our laundry room is really not a beautiful place, but I have my heartleaf philodendron in here. I've just moved this one into here because I replanted this, I don't know, a while ago, maybe a couple months ago. It was at the beginning of winter that I replanted this, and it just has not done great since then. Not too much light, and it gets very humid in here because of the washing machine. I'm hoping that it will perk back up and start to fill back out. I did trim this quite a bit and make another propagation. I've tried to soil propagate a few of these leaves, which I will show you in a second. I told you I had a lot of plants. So this is the hallway. There's a little fake plant here. That's obviously not real. So then we have the spare room, which is This is kind of like my plant room. So in the spare room, I have my bookshelf, which you see a lot if you follow my plant Instagram, Amanda Around the Plants. And so I'll start over here. So I have a little arrowhead syngonium up here. It's very cool looking, has the dark green and the light green on it. And that one is seriously the easiest thing ever to take care of as well. It's pretty much always happy and just sits there. It doesn't get any direct light, and I just water it when it gets dry. Pretty easy. Over here, yeah, so I'll just go through this a little bit by little bit. Here is my propagation that I mentioned of my heartleaf philodendron. I just stuck a lot of leaves in the soil with the nodes in there, and I'm hoping that a few of them start growing. I think that there's one little growth right there. Can you see it? Right here. There's a little, tiny little growth. So I'm hoping that's gonna actually start growing into a new plant. This thing really needs to be watered. I'm gonna water this right after this video. Here I have my little pilea peperomioides, and the very exciting thing about this one is it's actually growing its very first pup. So these plants grow little baby plants on the side, and it's growing this little baby plant, which I'm gonna get a tiny, tiny, tiny little terracotta pot and plant it into there. Last time I was doing my little shelfie photos, I dropped this plant and it broke some of the leaves, as you can see right there, which absolutely devastates me because this is one of my favorite plants. Here I have my tiniest little air plant, which has never grown at all, but it seems to be, I don't know, maybe it has grown actually, because it was very, very small when I got it. It's pretty tiny. Michael always thinks that he's gonna accidentally throw it away because he'll think it's a weed. And then here I have these very, very tiny succulents. I got these from Bunnings. They were like $3 for each one, and I just think they're the cutest little things. And they're just in their tiny little terracotta pots. They're so cute. Over here I have another air plant. This one is actually growing quite fast. With the air plants, I only put them in I'll give them a little bath once a week with rainwater if I have it. If I don't have it, I'll just use tap water. They seem to be fine with that as well. And I just leave them in the bath for maybe like a couple of hours and then take them out and let them dry out. And they are very happy with, oh my god. Oh, they're very happy with that level of care. I already talked about that one. So next I have my rubber plant here. I think for this one I'll probably just get a glazed pot like this and just stick it in there. I'm not gonna take it out of this pot. It's not root bound. It doesn't need to be repotted, so I'm just gonna stick it in a glazed pot once I find one that I like for this. I've had a hard time finding a pot that I like for this just because the color is so dark. I feel like it needs something very unique for its pot. So I really like this one because the leaves are quite thick and the new growth comes in this beautiful burgundy color, which is probably why it's called a ficus elastica burgundy. So this is my silver sword philodendron. It's also called a silver leaf philodendron, and it is the coolest thing because the leaves are like shiny, as you can see. This one's also very easy to care for. It's been sprouting new growth constantly since I've gotten it, and I think it looks really cool in this blue pot because it kind of brings out the blueness of the leaves and the silveriness. This is the newest leaf that just unfurled like yesterday, and it's rocking it. So that's the top shelf of my plant shelf. And next down here is my life, my heart, my soul, my Monstera deliciosa. I got this one as one tiny leaf. It was literally just this leaf, and it was a little cuddle plant. It was very, very tiny, and now it's grown into this medium-sized plant. I cannot wait for the leaves to split. I'm very, very excited for that. This is the newest leaf, so they are getting quite large, and that's going to be a happy, happy day when it splits. I can't wait. Here I have my Monstera adansonii, which I absolutely love as well, one of my favorite plants here. With the holes in the leaves, I just think this is the coolest looking thing. Here is my string of pearls, which is, I keep saying this about all of them, but this is another one of my favorite plants. A lot of people have trouble growing this plant, and mine has grown really well. I have a lot of before and after like growth photos of this one on my Instagram because I've only had this one since October 2019, and when I got it, it was so small. It was maybe like, It was definitely only one of these little things, and it probably only went to like there over the pot. So it's grown quite a lot because now we're in, what, July? No, we're in August. Oh my god. Yeah, it's about 10 months that I've had this one, and it's growing very, very well. It's happy there. It gets a lot of light in the morning, and I only water it when it's dry. I also have this little string of dolphins, which had the worst gnat infection I've ever seen when I first got it. It was also very overwatered when I first got it, so it lost a bit of its bushiness, but it's really growing now from what it has left. So it's a happy gal. I think this is so cool because the leaves actually are shaped like dolphins. This is another, it's a raindrop one, so it's just the same as this plant, but it's just a different variety where the leaves look like little raindrop shapes instead of perfectly round circles. I think these are quite cool. These leaves are a little bit thicker as well than this one, which has a bit of the thinner leaves. And I find the leaves on this one are quite a bit darker green. I know that the leaves on these can get shinier when you water them with rainwater or distilled water instead of tap water, because the chemicals in the tap water have an effect on them and they just don't like that. Here's my little frizzle sizzle. How cute is this? This is so cute. This is actually a bulb plant, so it will actually go dormant supposedly in the winter, but it's the middle of winter right now and she's a happy clam. She's putting out a little flower here. That's a bit different, but I think that means she's happy. Down on this shelf on the bottom here, I have a snow queen, which is just a type of devil's ivy with white and green variegation. This one's so cool, and also a very, very, very slow grower. Since I've had this, it's probably put out 2 leaves, and I've had it for maybe 5 months. I'm hoping the springtime will help her start to grow a bit more, but yeah, for now she's just kind of chilling at that stage. Back here I have, oh my god. Back here I have a neon pothos, which is also growing really slowly. I'm hoping that the spring and summer will help her pick up her pace, but I just think the leaf color of this one is so pretty. And there's a new leaf coming through. Look at that, new growth. So I'm a happy gal. I think she likes this place in the sun because she used to be in the bathroom and not get as much sun. And then down here we have my donkey tail. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. I think these are the coolest plants, but mine just is not happy. I don't know why it's not happy, because I give it everything it wants. I only water it when it's really dry, and it gets a ton of sun, but it just drops its leaves sometimes, and it's little, like, not leaves, but these things. I don't know if they're called leaves or something else, but yeah, it's just very temperamental for some reason. And then here I have a cocodama, which is not a real cocodama, but I thought it was when I bought it, and it's just a little succulent in there. It just comes out of here very easily, so I don't think it's done correctly, but I think it looks cool. So over here I have a Schefflera arbicola. I actually bought this one at this size, so it's kind of just chilling here. It's called an umbrella tree. I just think this is really cute. That is all the plants in here. So let's go to the next room. So here's the bedroom. Ooh. Here I have a little terrarium. I fell in love with this when I saw it at Bunning, but I just think it's so pretty. It has this little nerve plant is what it's called, this pink one, and then there's a little, I think this is called some type of fern back here, but this thing is just taking off. It's very happy there, and I just think it looks really pretty on a nightstand, and it's so easy to take care of. Just love this spot. So usually I have that plant over here. This is an Alocasia poly Bambino, so it's just a miniature version of its normal one, which is the Alocasia poly. It's going dormant right now because it's winter, which makes me so sad because, as I've said before, this is one of my favorite plants. I searched for this thing forever, and I finally found it, and when I found it, it was the last one at the store. This is probably the most expensive plant that I own. I paid $38 for it. I don't like to pay a lot for plants because I don't think you need to. Like, I like to buy them when they're smaller and grow them from being small. I just feel like that's more makes me very happy to grow them from being small. But this is the size of this one when I bought it. It has not changed at all. It hasn't put out any new leaves, but it has dropped a lot of leaves, like this one is dying off. So I'm really desperate for spring to come so that this thing can go back to being a happy little plant and putting out some new beautiful leaves like this one. Okay, and then over here I have my little Calathea corner. So here I have a Calathea ornata. When I first got this, it had the little pink stripes on it, which is what I originally loved about it, and then all the pink stripes went away. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one, to be honest. I kind of don't like it sometimes. It's definitely not one of my favorite plants. It's alright. I don't hate it. Here I have a dragon scale, which is definitely one of my favorite plants. I love this gal. I think these leaves are so cool. I can't wait for her to grow up and grow bigger leaves. She's growing a new little leaf right there. Here I have a Maranta. The name is right on the pot right there. Maranta lucanara kirkoviana. I don't know how to say that. I just got this one because it looks really pretty. I really like the Marantas. I think they have really cool patterns on their leaves and they're just really fun to look at. So that one is just kind of like just a chill plant. I have a humidifier right here, and so it blows on these plants all the time, which I think helps them. They really love that. So here I have my ctenanthe Burl Maxi, but I just love it because it grows so fast. It's so satisfying, and it has these beautiful leaves with the fishbone pattern on them. I just think they're very, very cool. This thing seriously puts out new leaves all the time. It could not be happier here. Up here I have my Philodendron Brazil. This is another one of my favorite plants. I just think it's so cool. I searched for this one as well. I just think they are the prettiest variegated plants. Well, one of the prettiest variegated plants. It's putting out a new leaf here, which I'm so proud of her for, and I cannot wait for her to get bigger and grow a bit quicker because I just love her so much. This is my other palm. This is an areca palm. The difference, I guess, between the areca palm and the kentia palm in the front room is that the areca palms tend to grow more upwards and the kentia palms flop a bit. I don't know. They look the same to me, but that's what the internet says. We'll just leave it at that. This is my newest plant, Rapidophora Tetrasperma, and I think this is the coolest looking plant. I also am very excited because this is supposed to be a very fast growing plant. I've had it for a total of 2 weeks. I'm in love with her. Like, honestly, I take so many photos of her. If you follow my plant Instagram, you'll see them, and I absolutely love this plant. I cannot wait for it to grow up and grow bigger and start vining, and it will grow very tall with a little bit of leaves, kind of like the devil's ivy. So if you're not familiar with this one, it's just a really cool plant. It's also meant to be very easy for beginners. I just think it's so cool looking. Here is another plant that I don't know if I love. This one is just kind of a pain in the butt because it will not be happy no matter what I do. So it's just lost a lot of fronds. I've recently repotted this and I think that helped a little bit, but I don't know. I just think that this is kind of it's just not happy ever. I know that it's well known for doing well in terrariums, so I might get a little glass container to put over it just to increase the humidity and maybe she'll be happier then. Here is the love of my life, my heart, my soul, my Fiddle Leaf Fig. When I bought this plant, it was a real turning point for me because I told myself that if I felt confident enough in plants to get a Fiddle Leaf Fig, that meant that I felt like I was good enough to be labeled as like a medium level plant person. And not only have I kept her alive I've probably had her for 5 to 6 months, but she has been thriving. So at the very beginning of winter, when it was still pretty warm, she put out 3 leaves at a time and she was just sprouting leaves like nobody's business. She makes me so happy. I water her every 2 weeks in the winter, and it'll probably be every week to 10 days in the spring because, as you can see, she's right in the sun. She absolutely loves it there. I know some people have issues with Fiddle Leaf Figs being in the sun, but she got accustomed to it and she just absolutely loves it. So I'm happy for her. When I water her, I take her into the shower with me so that her leaves get fully wet. I make sure to water the underside of the leaves too in the shower, so it's just kind of like pounds on her. She really likes the warm water, and I feed her with some nitrosol fertilizer every other time I water her, and it's just a bit diluted in the winter when I do it, and then yeah, that's pretty much it. She will probably need to be repotted in the spring because, as you can see, there's a lot of roots in there. She's pretty root bound, and I've heard that when you repot fiddle leaf figs every year, they'll grow a lot quicker. I love you so much. Okay, now we're at the last bit of my tour. So over here I have a Bambino Fiddle Leaf Fig. This Bambino Fiddle Leaf Fig I got because I just love my regular Fiddle Leaf Fig, and I think the Bambino ones are so cute. I made a little mistake on this one. I don't know if this was good or bad, but I fertilized it, and now it has this one leaf that's just twice the size of the other leaves. So if you can see, like, the size of my hand, this is probably from my fingers to my palm. This one is like double that size almost. So it just looks really funky with that one massive leaf. The whole point of this is that it's supposed to be small. Like, look how cute these little leaves are. It's just a tiny version of the regular one. I'm happy with this plant because I got it as it has 3 stems in here, so there's 3 little trees, which means that it's going to be really thick and luscious. And then over here I keep my succulents because they're right in the sun. Over here I have a little terrarium that I made myself. It's not doing well because there's no drainage hole in here, so I actually really need to repot this. This is not a succulent, but it is my peperomia piccolo bandit. I don't know, I always call it bandit because of the name. She has had her issues and she has not been getting enough light, which is why she's here for now, but she doesn't live here forever. I keep moving her around, but she's lost a lot of leaves that were just really like wet, and so I'm pretty sure she wasn't getting enough light, and she's also probably getting too much water, so I'm just kind of leaving her in the sun so she can hopefully dry out and become a happy girl again. This one is my aloe blush. I don't know if you can tell, but it's very like pink. Well, not very pink, but it's a little bit pink. It has a little bit of a blush to it. She's very happy in the sun. As you can see, she's growing a lot. When I first got her, she was maybe like half that size, and I've had her for, oh, who knows, maybe like, I probably had this for about a year now. This one is one of my older plants, so she's just thriving and loving life. Because this one also does not have a drainage hole, and I did this when I was new to plants, I just water her a very, 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 very tiny amount whenever I water her, and she's obviously doing fine because she's pretty happy. So that was all of my 60 plants. I hope you guys like this video. I know it got really long, but I personally really love watching plant tour videos. So if you guys like this, let me know. Please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below because it really supports my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!